Good morning, everybody. We have a new game starting, and I'm guessing we're heading towards the Najdorf. No, e5. e5 is considered to be an inaccurate move precisely because of this move bishop b5 check that I've played. This is the reason a lot of people play the move a6 on move number 5. And as far as I know, black's position should be quite unpleasant already. So I got my knight a nice outpost here on f5. Now my pawn is under attack on e4. So I think I will do bishop g5. So now I'm pinning his knight. And basically, I'm saying to him that he cannot capture my pawn on e4. And okay, now I played his bishop to e7, but this should be very bad because now I can take on g7 with a check. So he resigned already. I think we broke up a record, a game which lasted less than 1.5 minutes. So okay, let's play a rematch. So I hope this one would be more interesting. And he's keeping his ultra blitz rhythm. Yeah. Now the move a3 is quite weak. It's a waste of time because the move b4 is hardly a very big threat. Yeah, so now black should be quite comfortable in this Sicilian version. Let's play queen to c7. That's a typically good square for the queen in the Sicilian defense, making some pressure on this diagonal, controlling the e5 square. Also some pressure along the c file. So this is a kind of a move that black can play without too much thinking. Now let me develop the other knight. So one of the reasons I played my queen to c7 that now I will not have any problems with moves such as e5. So he played his bishop to f3, perhaps hinting at possibility of playing e5 by himself. So I have a couple of choices here. I can just proceed with normal development, like knight c6, which is perhaps the easiest move to play here. I can also go back to some sort of Scheveningen or hedgehog type position with the pawn to d6 followed by knight d7. This is also very solid. So it's more a question of taste here. Let me play knight to c6. I think this is the most like a smooth development move that I have at the moment. So if he ever takes my knight on c6, I can always recapture with the bishop. And I always have these nice possibilities of going to e5 with my knight, which is a very nice square, putting pressure on his bishop on f3, and also having some possibilities to jump to c4. For example, right now I can actually do it. I can very well play knight e5. I think it's quite unpleasant move for him to face. I can also just make a developing move like bishop to d6, developing a piece with the tempo. Also very possible. Okay, let's harass him a little bit with this move knight e5. I kind of like posing some small problems to my opponent in the opening. Now, I might take his bishop on f3, but what I really would like to do is to play my knight on c4. To me it looks like a very nice square, putting pressure on his pawn on b2 and his bishop on e3. And I don't see like a great way for him to deal with this knight c4 idea. Because if he plays bishop e2, trying to control the square on c4, then his pawn on e4 drops. So it shouldn't be too good for him either. So now I think he played the opening a bit carelessly. So now he has some small problems to solve. Let's see how he manages, because if I were white in this position, I would be quite annoyed by this point. So for the first time in this game and also the other game, he plays he is kind of stopping to think. So he played his bishop to f4. So first thing that we should check is whether I win a piece by knight takes bishop, but I don't, because he recaptured with the queen. So once again I have some nice choices here. I could put my pawn on d6, which is a very legitimate option in my opinion. And also I can put my bishop on d6, which is even more, let's say, ambitious. I can actually play any move here. But I really do want to step out of this pin against my queen. So really my top choices are either d6 or bishop d6. Let's play d6, because I have a very I have a strong feeling that he will capture my knight on e5, trying to give me doubled pawns, but this is actually a very good situation for black. So I'm really kind of giving him a candy, because if he takes my knight on e5, then I recapture with the pawn with the tempo on his knight on d4, and then I have a kind of a very smooth development on pieces. My bishop would be opened up on this diagonal. I will have the d file open for my rooks, so it should be very good for black actually. And if he does not take my knight on e5, yeah, he played his knight to b3. So I think at this point I can go back to my plan with knight c4. This is one approach. I can also just develop a piece, let's say rook to c8 or bishop e7, but I want to be slightly flexible. Let's play rook c8. Yeah, let's play rook c8. So I'm kind of keeping all of my options in the air, putting a lot of pressure on the c file. So for example, now he cannot move his knight from c3 anywhere, because then his pawn on c2 would be captured. So it's quite a typical Sicilian strategy to try to build up some pressure over the c file. Rook e1. So I think my opponent has practically no clear plan of what he's doing, and the move rook e1 is a kind of indication of this. Perhaps he wants to pile up against my king on the e file, but this is way too ambitious in my opinion. Now once again, knight c4 is a legit possibility. What else can I do? I think also just developing a bishop. Let's develop. I will keep the move knight to c4 for the next move. It's kind of a logical or a safe approach to always be able to castle in one move. So when you are one move away from castling, you are not too afraid of any of the opponent's possibilities for some dynamics or attacks, because then you can just castle. And I think now he made a huge blunder actually. Now you see, when he puts his queen in the center, I see that potentially I can put my pawn on e5 and to fork him. So all I need to do is get it rid of my knight with the tempo. And now white is just losing a full piece with no apparent compensation. Yeah, this guy is playing way too fast. I was not too impressed by his play. I think this would be enough for now. Anyway, I think he made quite a big mistake on the last move with this move queen d4. But actually, yeah, I already quite like my position. The computer evaluates it already clearly better for black because all of those ideas of knight c4. So yeah, I think he already kind of misplayed his position, but it remains to be seen if white is what should white have done here. Probably a move like knight to d2, trying to control the c4 square. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the game, or rather the games. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.